Hello, today I'll be showing you how to use a Vexor to do Tier 1 Abyss sites, more specifically Calm Gamma sites. This Vexor is a shield tank and it has a 10 MN afterburner and it does around 260 DPS with semi-decent skills. Personally, I like to do Abyss sites in GE because it's very convenient. But feel free to go to a safer system if you feel like it. I usually work to a deep safe and yeah. So here's a better look at the fit. This fit does include tier 2 small drones, however they are not necessary. And also in the cargo hold, I have some nanite repair paste and overclocker, agency overclocker dose 1. These usually don't need to be used, however in case something goes wrong it's really nice to have them handy in the cargo. One of the biggest weaknesses of a Vexor in Abyss sites is the fact that many of the Abyssal rats may tend to shoot your drones, so always be careful, and I like to group my drones together to make them easier to move. And this fit is cap stable while your extra large ancillary shield booster has charges in it. So first thing I like to do once I get into a site is instantly turn on the adaptive invulnerability field and look around. So in this room we see two Dame VX, which they're pretty scary because they deal high damage and are very fast. So usually for Dame VX, I like to drop light drones and wait for the closest one and use a web and activate my drones. Be sure to use your drone hotkeys as they're really useful, and in the Abyss sites where time is important to not slow down. So keeping a close eye on drones and my DPS, I work my way towards the exit gate. This fit does have very low mobility as it only has a 10 MN afterburner in one of the slower cruisers. However, this fit is not meant for kiting and more just face tanking and out DPSing. I see here that one of my hobgoblins is taking a lot of damage, and I pull him back and wait for the Dame VX to regress on me and launch the drones once again. Be sure to let your shield get really low before using the extra large shield booster, because you may waste part of your shield boost if you're not really low. And also a bit of drone micro to make sure they're aggressing the same target helps a lot. Sometimes I like to fly to the adaptive cache earlier and engage one of my drones to take out this the crate, while leaving the rest of drones to finish off the rats as needed. So this box has around 400,000 ISK worth of loot, which isn't very good, but this is pretty much has loot that fluctuates very large. that fluctuates a lot. So I see one of my drones taking damage again, and try my best to not let it die. However, it does happen. Alright, once I clear out all of the rats, I pull my drones and reload my shield booster. Try to be careful and conserve your shield boosters, as cap booster 400s take up quite a bit of space. And after a bit of a reload cycle, I jump and prepare for the next room. So this room has the Abyssal Tyrannos, which is pretty scary. However, there's not many other enemies, and we should be able to handle it. Sometimes when facing a hard room, a bit of overheating helps a lot. I like to shift click to overheat to make sure I don't accidentally turn off the module. In this room, use manual piloting, which is double clicking in space to spiral in to avoid to maximize transversal and minimize damage taken. So this is first I like to take out the smaller enemies first. So I drop medium drones to take down the cruiser. Be sure to red cycle your shield boost every time to prevent from wasting a lot of cap boosters and over-repping. So for the Abyssal Tyrannos, the most effective strategy is to get close and orbit closely. And the Abyssal Tyrannos is one of the main reasons why I like to keep heavy drones in my drone bay, as it is very tanky and takes up a lot of time. This is definitely one of the more dangerous rooms for a Vexor. So after clearing out the cruiser, I pull two of my medium drones to launch my ogres to maximize DPS. Another thing to be careful is the border, as this rat is very close. By orbiting, I may end up outside the border, so here manual piloting is very important. Once I get close enough, I'm not very worried about this rat hitting me, so I would reload my shield booster and try to avoid taking damage by maximizing transversal. When the Abyssal Tyrannos ends up on the edge, it is one of the most dangerous situations to be in for Vexor, as it's very easy to end up out of the zone and dying to the environment. So here, because this cache is kind of far, I would overheat my afterburner a bit to get there a bit faster. For maximum efficiency, some people like to drop mobile tractor units to drag in the wrecks after blowing up with the drones. However, with a Vexor and minimal investment, this isn't really necessary, as the mobile tractor unit will likely cost nearly as much as your ship. Once again, this crate loot is kind of disappointing, but we move on and hope the next room has some better loot for us. While in the Abyss, usually I like to keep an eye on the intel map to see what enemies are nearby, to make sure that once I get out, I don't immediately die. Alright, so this room has 3 lucid escorts, which are, I'm pretty sure, sleeper rats. They're not very intimidating to the Vexor, and I would just approach the exit gate or the bioadaptive cache. Here my drones take a bit more damage, and I try to do my best to avoid losing my drones. I pull my drones and prepare to exit. In this Abyssal run, we got about 1.5 million ISK worth of loot, which is pretty disappointing. However, the Abyss is sort of a gamble. You could get tens of millions of loot out of just one site. And it took us about 14 minutes, so in most cases this is not very ludicrous, but it's a lot of fun and definitely something worth doing. Some final notes for this fit. The fitting is a bit tight on the CPU, however there's a lot of power width. If you're missing a bit of CPU, you could use a 1% or 2% CPU implant, or if you have better skills, you can, if you have, I think, electronic upgrades to 4 or 5, you could use to 4, you could use the coprocessor 2, or you could switch out one of these rigs for a CPU rig. And some of the modules can be switched to the compact version. However, by keeping it tier 2, it maximizes efficiency and increases ISK per hour. In general, this is a really fun fit. However, definitely not the best ISK per hour. If you want to, this fit is capable of doing tier 2 sites. However, it's a bit riskier and you may often die. So that's it. Have fun and fly brave.